Well, the stock market may be booming and hitting record highs, but not Donald Trump's stock for Trump Media, which is actually tanking on additional news of a re-audit of Trump Media showing that its losses last year was about $58 million. That's, of course, on top of the $300 million that Trump Media lost just over the past 3 months on $750,000 in revenue. Also, not helping that Donald Trump's a convicted felon, as we keep calling out each of the scams that he engages in. And other media is holding him accountable as well, calling out some of these other potential scams and shady deals. It's all Donald Trump knows. For example, as NBC reported, there's now a mystery fundraising firm that's taking in millions of dollars from the Trump campaign. No one knows who's behind it. No one knows what they do. The campaign says it's fulfilled its legal reporting obligation, though the spending appears to mirror past attempts to mask who is actually receiving this donor cash. And when you go to the website, here's all that shows up. It's just something that says Launchpad Strategies. Get in touch. More on all of that in a moment. But look, we've taken a look at the balance sheet and the P&Ls of Trump Media. It's a disaster. The re-audit shows they lost $58 million last year. The most recent audit of the past 3 months, the last quarter, shows a $327 million loss on about $770,000 in revenue. As Investor Place writes, Trump Media warned investors about the risks of a guilty verdict, but investors don't appear to be listening. Trump's trial results aren't helping his losing stock, and they aren't likely to in the future. So take a look. It dropped another 6 percentage points at the beginning of the week. It's down to $34.72. I've run the analysis with you about what I think, in my opinion, this stock is really worth, if it's worth anything. Again, just my opinion. I'm not giving stock advice. Let me be very clear. Let me just break down the simple math for you, explaining what a penny stock is and why it is a penny stock. Think about it this way. Let's say there's approximately 200 million shares outstanding, and each individual share has a specific value amount, right? Let's say that Trump Media, I'll go on the high end. I'll say that its revenue is $1 million per quarter. So let's say it earned $4 million for the entire year based on its current progress. And let me do something very unusual when looking at P&Ls in a balance sheet. I won't even figure out the balance. Let me ignore the fact that if I extrapolate its losses, it would be around $1.2 billion in losses, but which would basically make the company worth absolutely zero, would be generously putting it. But let's ignore that. Why? Just for the sake of this argument. Let's say it's $4 million in revenue, and let's say let's apply a 5 times multiple and ignore the losses. So let's say the entire value of Trump Media is $20 million. So with 200 million shares outstanding on an enterprise that's valued at $20 million, how much do you think each share is worth? Clearly, it's worth significantly less than $1 if you just do the basic math, by far. So the fundamentals are not there. And you may say, well, I hear about these tech companies, Ben, all the time that are losing money, but they have a high valuation. Well, they have real revenue and they have revenue growth. So yeah, there may be companies like Uber in the early days, or a lot of these startups in the early days that were losing, let's say, $1 billion or $2 billion, but its revenue was increasing 250 million, 500 million, 750 million. And so you had a trajectory of where these stocks would ultimately go if they were made public. But that's not what's happening here. It went from a $58 million loss last year to a $300 million loss in just 1 quarter. So you take a look at those disclosures that article talks about. Why don't we go back and look at the disclosures from the merger documentation This is how it describes Donald Trump's business history. So if you're watching this, this is not a political video, okay? Just I want to give you Trump's resume according to the warnings that the Trump company had to give as required by the SEC, where it asks very specific questions about, have any of your businesses failed? Have you ever declared bankruptcy before? So that's what was asked. So here is the disclosure that was made. A number of companies that were associated with Trump have filed for bankruptcy. There can be no assurances that Trump Media will not also become bankrupt. Entities associated with Trump have filed for bankruptcy protection. The Trump Taj Mahal, which was built and owned by Trump, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1991. The Trump Plaza, the Trump Castle, and the Plaza Hotel, all owned by Trump at the time, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1992. THCR, which was founded by Trump in 1995, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2004. Trump Entertainment Resorts, the new name given to Trump hotels and casino resorts after the 2004 bankruptcy, declared bankruptcy in 2009. Then it goes on to say a number of companies that had license agreements with Trump have failed as well. And there's no assurances that Trump Media won't follow that same pattern. Trump Shuttle, launched by Trump in 89, defaulted on its loans in 1990, ceased to exist by 92. Trump University, founded by Trump in 2005, ceased operations in 2011 amid lawsuits and investigations into the company's business practices. Trump Vodka, a brand of vodka produced, was introduced in 2005, discontinued in 2011. Trump Mortgage LLC, a financial services company founded by Trump in 2006, ceased operation in 2007. GoTrump.com, a travel site founded by Trump in 2006, ceased operation in 2007. Trump Steaks, a brand of steak and other meat founded by Trump in 2007, discontinued sales 2 months after its launch. While these businesses were in different industries than Trump Media, there can be no guarantee that Trump Media's performance won't follow a similar path. And that didn't mention that Donald Trump's organization is a convicted felon, that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, that the Trump organization was found liable for civil fraud, that Trump has been found liable to $500 million plus, and that Donald Trump has been found liable for sexual assault. That could be added to that disclosure right now as well. So just think about that from just a non-political standpoint. Would you want to invest in a company whose leader did all that? Or, I don't know, did the deep state go into a time machine? I know how Donald Trump and MAGA, the deep state, the Marxist communists, okay, did they go into a time machine and have Donald Trump fail quite literally his entire life and run the exact same scams and schemes we see now before he ever ran? Was that part of the deep state cabal that used time machines? Come on, people. Come on, people. And then let's talk about over here this new major red flag warning. Mystery fundraising firm takes in millions from Trump campaign. The campaign says it's fulfilled its legal reporting obligation. Hat tip NBC, great report. Trump's political operation has routed more than $3 million so far this year through a Delaware limited liability company whose owners are not publicly disclosed, according to campaign finance records, a strategy that mirrors past efforts to mask exactly how his campaign is spending donor cash. Great work, Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia. This is where your money's going. The money has been paid to Launchpad Strategies, a company that appears to have been incorporated in Delaware in November, according to state business records, and lists North Carolina post office box as its campaign finance filing address. Since it was formally incorporated, the company has received $3.1 million in payments from the Trump campaign. The payments add up to make the company the second largest vendor used this year by the Trump Save America Joint Fundraising Committee. The Joint Fundraising Committee has spent nearly $2.8 million with Launchpad Strategies. Little is known about this company beyond its existence and the millions of dollars it has taken. It has never done other political work for state level or federal candidates, according to federal and state campaign finance filings. The first payment from Trump operation was on December 18th, just over a month after the company appears to have been incorporated in Delaware. The company website offers no information about the services it offers or who runs it. A contact page that offers people a place to reach out and ask questions appears appears inactive, and multiple requests for comment by NBC News went unanswered. While the company uses this North Carolina post office box as an address in federal campaign finance reports, state officials in North Carolina confirmed to NBC last week that no company by that name is registered in the state. We don't have a business entity by that name in our business registration database, said Liz Proctor, a spokeswoman for the North Carolina Secretary of State. The Trump campaign would not discuss any specifics. I could go through almost every Trump entity and you'll see this pattern. As I started this video with Trump Media, remember this report by The Guardian exclusive, Trump Media saved in 2022 by Russian American under criminal investigation. And it talks about how when Trump was about to go bankrupt with Trump Media before it went public and is now a total disaster, Trump had to take an emergency loan, including from an entity called ES Family Trust, which opened an account with Paxum Bank, a small bank registered on the Caribbean island of Dominica, that is best known for providing financial services to the porn industry. Through leaked documents, The Guardian learned that ES Family Trust operated like a shell company for a Russian-American businessman named Anton Postolinkov, who co-owns Paxum Bank and has been subject of a year-long federal criminal investigation by the FBI and DHS. Paxum Bank does not offer loans in the U.S. as it lacks U.S. banking license. It's not regulated by the FDIC, so Postolinkov appears to have used a trust to loan money to help save Trump Media and the Truth Social platform because his bank itself could furnish the loan. Postolinkov, the nephew of Alexander Smirnov, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, has not been charged with the crime. Just think about that. Every entity, pretty much, you have a similar story. Is that deep state? Is that the communist Marxists making this all fake news? Or maybe, just maybe, this is how Donald Trump does everything. This convicted felon behaves with everything. Judge for yourself. I'm just giving you facts and data, folks. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thank you so much for watching.
Enough! Send him to the big house, not the White House. Get the new exclusive tees, mugs, and stickers right now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.